Morning, everybody. My name is Barry Schwartz, and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, July 22nd, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. Lots to discuss. Massive Google search bugs right after I recorded this video last week. Just so you know, I record the video around anywhere from like 6 a.m. to between 6 and 7 a.m. in the morning on Friday, so it's really fresh. And right after that, I started to notice indexing bugs with Google search. So we had massive indexing bugs where Google was not indexing new content. We'll get into that. We had massive bugs with Google Ads, with Google Analytics, Google AdSense, you name it. Everything was failing last Friday. And then again, there was other issues later on in the week. The People Also Ask box or results is now back. FAQs are in Google business profiles, which lets you automate messaging. Review scams are on the alert for Google and so much more. So you definitely want to stay tuned. And of course, I'd like to thank our sponsor. Thanks, Duda. Check them out at duda.co. Duda is the professional website builder that you could call your own. So definitely check them out and obviously mention that you found them at the Search Engine Roundtable. Okay, so on Friday last week, July 15th, probably at around 8 a.m. or so, right after I recorded this video, I noticed that pages started to not be indexed. I got my first alert from Zane on Twitter, who noticed this and said, hey, what's going on? Usually it's nothing when people tell me that, but it is something. I looked at a bunch of different websites, including my own website where I just produce content. Usually Google snatches up the content I produce within seconds, which is pretty cool. Thank you, Google. I appreciate that. But Wall Street Journal, New York Times, The Verge, you name it, none of these sites were finding new content. Google was not finding or indexing new content within the hour. So something was wrong. I went ahead and pinged Google. Google said they're gonna look into it. And then around 10:50 a.m., Google confirmed there was an indexing issue going on. At 3 p.m., Google said that they identified the issue and is working on a fix. So it took them a while to actually notify us that they're working on a fix, but I'm sure they were working on it before that. Then around an hour later, around 4 p.m., I started to notice Google starting to show new content again in Google Search, which is cool. But Google did not say it was fully resolved until the following morning at 2 a.m. Now, keep in mind, I do think the timeline for this was probably around 7 a.m., 6 a.m. Eastern on Friday last week, through about maybe 5 p.m. Eastern on Friday last week, where Google was not indexing new content. Obviously, this impacts sites that thrive on new content, specifically news publishers that really publish new breaking stories, and Google was not able to show that in Google Search or in Google News. So keep that in mind. Sites like the Wall Street Journal or any news publisher probably got hurt by this update in some sense, because Google was not servicing the new content, and obviously searchers who were searching for it or going to Google News for it were not finding it. In any event, that was resolved. I haven't heard more issues around that since, so just keep that in mind. Then the following weekend, I reported about this on Monday, people were saying maybe there was a Google algorithm update. I don't know. I mean, the tools definitely showed some fluctuations. There was definitely a lot of chatter. But I'm thinking maybe the fluctuations we saw was because of the Google indexing issue, and that really, once Google started to spike up and start indexing this new content, maybe that had triggered a lot of stuff because it was all done in a very short period of time. Maybe, I'm not sure, but maybe the fluctuations people saw was related to that, and maybe it wasn't an algorithm update, maybe it was just the indexing update that was lingering, but I'm not really sure. Definitely take a look at that. You are definitely not alone if you notice anything on the 16th or so. And then talking about Google issues, the same day on that Friday, later on in the afternoon, Google started to notice, to have Google issues with Google Ads, Google Analytics, Google AdMob, you name it, keep going through the list. You know, all the different ad providers, including Analytics, all had made massive delays in reporting. Google said there was no ad serving issue, but it basically started probably around, I don't know, I think the first reports were around July 15th at, I don't know, 1 p.m. Eastern or so, and that lingered on throughout that day. I think it started to get better around 8 p.m. Eastern that day, but Google confirmed it was fixed later on, I think later on that night. So there were Google Ads, Analytics, anything ad related the reporting was significantly delayed, and you didn't know what's going on because Analytics didn't work either. So pretty frustrating, but that was resolved. And then again, a few days later, on July 19th, Tuesday, the following Tuesday, Friday we had an issue, and then Tuesday, the same issue happened. Google Ads, Google AdSense, all the different analytics, they all, I think not so much with GA4, but more with UA3, all had issues. The status, Google status dashboard showed issues as well. This started, I think, around, if I had to say, around 3 a.m. on Tuesday, July 19th, and that lingered on at least through around the following morning or so. Google said they fixed it, I think around, 1, 2 a.m. in the morning. But Ginny Marvin from Ads Liaison noticed that it was posted that it was fixed around 6:20 a.m. the following morning. So again, another ads outage affecting AdMob, AdSense, Google Ads, Google Analytics, and so forth, again on Tuesday. So Google's been very, very buggy. So far, seems to be okay right now, but we will see. I'm sure right after this video, things will go sour. Talking about bugs, Google said they will investigate new reports of the Google search results not showing the recipe carousel for sites like they used to. So the Google shows a lot of recipes in Google search. There's a recipe carousel, and Google is investigating those issues. We've seen this happen a lot in the past, I think in 2019 with recipes not showing up and recipe bloggers not being happy. But Google's Danny Sullivan is looking into it, so we will see. People also asked, Box went away a couple weeks ago in terms of the percentage of time that it shows up. So generally, people also ask, Box in the search results shows about 60% of queries according to Rank Ranger, SEMrush, SEO Clarity, and the various tools. That on July, I think 11th or so, no, wait, 7th, July 7th, it dipped down to half of that. So about 30% of queries, instead of 60% of queries, were showing that people asked us, specifically on desktop according to these tools. Personally, I always see it everywhere, so I'm not sure how these tools are picking it up, but I trust the tools. They dug into the data. I asked them to go ahead and look to make sure it's valid, and they said it's valid. And then yesterday, July 21st, Google seemed to have fixed the issue, and the tools picked up that they're back to 60%. So people also asked, Box is back to 60%, both and all. SEMrush, Rank Ranger, and SEO Clarity definitely dug into that data and confirmed that it is back to the normal levels. So a couple weeks ago, we reported how Google has these new knowledge panel cards for celebrities and so forth. Google's now testing the newer version of those cards, interactive enabled. This was spotted by Glenn Gabe, where actually you could click on these cards, they expand in type of visual expansion feature, where it kind of like animates, and then you can actually click to see more information. It's very, very cool. Here's a screenshot of that, and nice find from Glenn Gabe. Google announced from Google Search Console team that you can now verify your website in Google Search Console using a new method, not DNS, DNS, yes, but using a CNAME DNS record, as opposed to a TXT, a text file DNS record. So the text was there forever, but now Google's allowing you in the Google Search Console, the new version, to verify your website using CNAME DNS, as opposed to just TXT DNS. Keep in mind, in the old original Webmaster Tools, you were able to use CNAME, but that went away with the Google Search Console. So a lot of people think, hey, this is not new. It is kind of new. It's old, but it's new, and it's new again, which is pretty cool. This is very cool. Google Business Profiles has a new section for messaging called FAQs, frequently asked questions, where you can actually go ahead and submit questions and answers that you frequently get from customers and answer them in a frequently asked question database. What Google's going to do with that is then say, if somebody messages you using the Google Search mobile maps platform, where they're messaging you from their phone or whatever through Google Maps and Google Local, Google will say, is this answer in the FAQ section? If it is, we will go ahead and respond with your answer that you submitted. Very, very cool. This is spotted by Stefan, posted about this the other day. And the format is basically, you can go ahead and have up to 40 questions. Up to 10 FAQs, only 10, which is weird. 10 questions and answers. Each question max length could be 40 characters, and each answer could have up to 500 characters. And those answers could even have links, so it's pretty cool. And again, this is probably because businesses and small businesses and all businesses of all sizes actually don't have resources, they don't have staff, they don't have anybody to go ahead and respond to these people on Google. So maybe this is why Google came up with this feature. I think it's great. I think everybody should try it out. The question is, figure out what those questions are. And obviously you can use those questions to answers on your own website. It's great. It's content source as well. So keep that in mind. Google, over the past couple weeks, has been under the scope around review scam. A New York Times article a few weeks ago came out basically highlighting the blackmail threats from people targeting small restaurants and threatening them and their owners by saying, if you don't give us a gift card of X dollars, we will go ahead and leave a 1-star review on your website and it will hurt your business. Google's telling us now, and they posted this week saying, you should go ahead and ignore those things. If you do get a notification about this from some scammer or blackmailer, here's a form you can fill out, let us know about that, and they will remove the 1-star reviews. So definitely it's good for that Google's taking action. Doesn't seem like a really streamlined or efficient way to handle it, but Google is on it and they are aware of it. Google is testing, I think, or maybe launched it in certain regions, a new label on reviews in Google Maps. They say these reviews aren't verified. It's basically a label. This is spotted by Robin. And here's that screenshot, which is pretty cool. So Google's saying these reviews are not verified. Google's also, I'm not sure if this is new, a local pack filter. We had the hours filter for a while. You can actually click on hours and see what, filter by businesses open within these hours. Google's now showing that you can filter by day, not just by hour. So if I only want to see a business open on Sunday or only on Wednesday, you could do that. And you could also go ahead and see by time. Is this business open up at 7 a.m. or is it open at 9 a.m. or is it open at midday or whatever? You can actually filter by those things. Google Ads is going to start automatically upgrading advertisers to Performance Max for shopping campaigns. This is going to start over the next couple months. You will be notified via alert in Google Search and Google Ads console, letting you know about that change. They'll give you, I think, about 2 weeks heads up a little bit. And this is going to happen automatically. Eventually, everybody's going to be migrated. There's a schedule in terms of when people will be migrated to Performance Max, starting with shopping campaigns or smart shopping campaigns in the next couple weeks, and you'll see that grow out over the next couple months. So Google's pleading with people, do it yourself. There's an upgrade tool to do it yourself. If you're not going to do it yourself, we're going to do it for you. I don't know if you want Google to do it for you. I think you want to be on top of it when it happens. So definitely take a look at that. And some other things will be moving in 2023, so keep that in mind. Google Ads is testing map pins with photos in the Google Maps results. This is weird. So usually on map pins, which, whatever, these must be ads. This was spotted by Vilshal. And it basically shows a photo from your Google ad in the map pin, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure if that's new either, but I've never seen that before. Google Ads also has released a new policy for politics. And this is very interesting. The policy basically says, and let me see, for visual formats, the disclosure must be visible at all times and be sufficient size to be visible to an average viewer. So you want to make sure that that information is visible, easy to see that this is a political ad. And two, for audio-only formats, the disclosure must be substantially similar in pitch, I guess the voice pitch, and tone and speed to the rest of the ad. You can't go ahead and fly through the disclaimer, so which is interesting because every ad you listen to on the radio is like, you hear the ad and then you have some really fast guy talking at the end in an undertone voice about the disclaimer. So you can't have that. Google's not allowing that going forward for political ads. Google is testing, this is pretty cool news, testing new augmented reality prototypes, specifically around eyewear and other visual cues, and also audio cues. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but it's being tested by a small number of Googlers, as well as trusted testers. Not sure who trusted testers are. I did email Google asking if I could become a trusted tester. I have not heard back. Not surprised, but who knows? Maybe I'll be wearing Google prototype glasses in the future. But this is pretty cool. Basically, it's going to go ahead and improve things like visual search, image search, translation, navigation. It reminds me of the old Google Glass, so we'll see what happens with that, but keep an eye on that, no pun intended, to see what happens in the future. And if you want to go ahead and set a timer in Google Search, you used to be able to say set a timer, start a stopwatch, and stuff like that in Google Search. Google would have a countdown. That no longer seems to be working. Danny Sullivan is looking into it. Not sure why it went away. But if you do that, you are not going to get a timer in Google Search. I'm not sure what went wrong. But the clock is ticking, Google. You better fix that very soon. In any event, thank you so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. My name again is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com over the past week. Everyone have a great weekend. Be safe, be healthy, and I'll see you guys next. Thank you again for Duda for sponsoring. Definitely check them out at duda.co. Everyone have a great weekend, and see you guys later. Bye-bye.